All right, it is time for our recruiting report with Otis Kirk. He joins us right now. And Otis, let's talk about a couple of Fayetteville guys. First off, I want to start with Isaiah Sategna, 2022 guy, 4-star wide receiver.
Right.
Had a pretty big game over the weekend.
Yeah, he did. You know, the thing about Fayetteville is they started off pretty slow this season, but they're coming on now. This kid's been strong all season. He has really just excelled on the field. He's got so much speed. You know, he's double football track recruit. Arkansas's offered him for both sports. His dad is an assistant track coach over at U of A. The biggest thing with him is the other night he had a 62-yard touchdown. It was his first post of the season, he said, which was unusual, but because he's got 40 catches for 791 yards, but he said that was his first post catch of the season. He got behind the Heritage secondary pretty early, caught a 62-yarder. He owns some track records in the state: Oregon, Mississippi State, Auburn, Penn State, Oregon. Those are Nebraska, Baylor. Those are some of the schools that's offered him along with Arkansas. He's got other offers too, but the biggest, like, he's 5'11", about 170. He's not super big, but he's got really good hands, runs good routes. Just a smart kid, and been around a coach, and everything. But he's going to be a good player for some college. Right now, I think Arkansas is probably in the lead for him, and it's good because I tell you what, if the quarterback can get the ball to him, he's going to go with it. If he gets behind you, it's over, Tara. It's over. So that's good with Isaiah.
Yeah. What about Caden Turner? Obviously, like I mentioned, another Fayetteville guy, 2022, 3-star linebacker. Definitely one of the leaders on that defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, the kid he reminds me of is Brooks Ellis. I think he's a faster Brooks Ellis, in my opinion, but he resembles him. He said he hears that all the time. But first of all, you were with me that day when we talked about that. He said, but he does. He reminds me of I think he's a little bit faster than Brooks was, though. I think he's faster, but speed. Both those kids, speed is their strengths. Isaiah and Caden. I was impressed with him the other night. Now, what he did the other night with the Heritage offense, he didn't make. It was kind of like JJ the week before, JJ Hollingsworth. He didn't get a chance to make very many plays because but he was getting in the hole and forcing the play elsewhere, and somebody else was making the play. But he's a good player. He's 6'1", 217, Houston, Indiana, Kansas, joined Arkansas and offered him. He'll get some more offers. He's just right now. He's just playing his junior year, and just Fayetteville, like I said, they started out struggling, but they're going to the playoffs. But Caden's a good linebacker. I tell you what he does. If he gets to you, he will hit you. He's tough. He's physical. See, that's what I wanted to see the other night is when he got to him, he didn't shy away from contact. Not that I thought he would, but he certainly didn't. And he's a good ball player. Both those, I can see why Arkansas offered both of those kids. Sometimes you think, you hear people say, well, they're from Fayetteville. That's probably why Arkansas. No, I mean, those are kids that Arkansas would offer no matter where they were at.
Yeah. All right, Cedric Simmons, a guy from Malvern, 2023 quarterback. He's having a good season, dual threat quarterback as well.
I love that kid, Tara. He's a sophomore. For anybody who doesn't know, 2023. He's 5'11", about 170, 175, maybe 6 foot tall. He told me 5'11" the other night. I think that may be without shoes, though, because I think he's probably 6 foot tall. But he is going to grow some, probably. His dad, I've heard, pretty tall. But the thing about him is he's a true dual threat quarterback. When he went to Malvern in the 9th grade, when he got in the 9th grade, he played up to varsity. The year before, they were 0-10. They went 4-7 last year. And people say, well, 4-7, and he got them to the playoffs. That may not sound like much, but when you compare 4-7 for a true freshman playing quarterback, and they play Joe T. They play Arkadelphia. They play Nashville. They played Lake Hamilton this year. They don't play a soft schedule. So they're 4-5 right now. And but they play a brutal schedule. And they fought COVID in the last couple of 3 weeks too. I think they're getting most of those guys back. But he is, as I said, he's a kid. I'm going to tell you, he reminds me of a young Quinn Grovey. When Quinn was that age, Cedric's passing is good, but it's going to continue to improve. And if he'll work like Quinn did, because Quinn will tell you he wasn't a great passer even when he got to Arkansas, but he became one, and he became one because of hard work, not natural ability, or he had a lot of natural ability. I mean, Quinn was a great athlete, but I'm just telling you, Quinn will tell you he got to be the passer he was because of hard work. And that, if Cedric will work the same way, and you never know if he will, but Kansas has offered him. He said he didn't really expect to get offers this early, but Kansas did offer him, and he's going. They're just. I just love the kid. He's passed for 1,633 yards this year, 13 touchdowns, and rushed for 532 and 4 more. So he's got over 2,000 yards. He's got over 2,000 yards offense, and he's a sophomore. Wow. But he really benefited by playing last year as a freshman because he's almost like he's a junior this year. You see what I'm saying? Since he played last year, it's almost like he's a junior now. And he's got 2 more years at Malvern, and I would be surprised if Arkansas doesn't offer him eventually. I mean, like I said, right now he's only got the one offer. Kansas offers a lot of people, so I don't know, I'm not making light of the Kansas offer. It's a Power 5 offer. I'm just saying Kansas offered a lot of people, but he's going to get a lot more offers.
All right, and one more guy we want to mention is Makai Armstrong. West Helena Central having a rough season, to say the least, right now.
Yeah, they're not good, but this kid is 6'4", 335. I almost said 235. Let me start over. 6'4", 335. He's not 235. Maybe when he was born, he was 235. But no, I mean, Makai is a player that Arkansas has not offered. By the way, he's class of 2021. He's a senior. But they're on guys like Cameron Ball and Isaiah Eaton, I-T-O-N, however you pronounce it. I can write it. I can't. I'm not the TV person. But they're on kids like that, big defensive tackles, and they want to get a couple of them. But if they don't get some of those, they may go back on Armstrong. And I'm going to tell you, people have seen him play, really like him. I mean, he's got small offers. He's got UAPB, Northeastern State, Henderson State, where I went to college. So if he speaks those 3, go ahead and pick Henderson State. But no, seriously. I mean, he's a solid. Well, you can't coach 6'4", 335, Tara. I mean, that's what it comes down to. I mean, he's playing on a bad team. I guess he's not. He has individually got some talent, and he goes out there. And the good thing about that, it's easy when you're 8-0 or 7-0 or whatever to have a good attitude. He's got one. They haven't won a game. This kid's out there with a good attitude. He's not throwing his teammates under the bus. He's not saying all those underclassmen. I talked to him the other night for 10 minutes or so. I mean, he never threw anyone under the bus, wasn't griping about the coaches, wasn't blaming anybody, pointing a finger. That's impressive when they can do that. Or I think it is. I mean, like I said, it's easy when you're on top to be humble and nice and, say, but this kid, they're losing, and he never once blame someone else. He said, "Hey, we've got to play better." He said, "But we, not they, we." So I was impressed with him, and I don't know. I mean, don't know if it'll work out for Arkansas. He'll play somewhere, and he'll play well in college. He like I said, he's got size that you can't coach.
And Otis, I know there were a couple of other guys that you wanted to mention as well before we wrap things up.
Well, it was Cameron Ball and Isaiah. Yeah, I mean, it's just, Ball's the number one. I think Ball is probably their number one target right now. Arkansas, Georgia Tech, Arizona State, Tennessee. I mean, he's number one target. Okay, we're talking about kids 6'5", 305 pounds that can run on sprint relay teams. I mean, that's what we're talking about. And those guys don't grow on trees, Tara. Yeah. He can. I mean, he can go in. He can go to English. So I think Arkansas would have him if he could have visited. I think they may still get him. I think they'll probably still get him. But if he could have visited, I think he'd already committed to Arkansas, is what I'm saying. He's right there in Atlanta, and that's where Georgia Tech's at. So, I mean, that gives them a little bit, that gives them some advantage. I mean, he's seen the campus, but I think Arkansas still got a legit shot at him. And then Isaiah played at Northern Colorado last year. He didn't play at Hutchinson last year, but he's at Hutch now. But then again, they're not playing this fall, so they're playing next spring. So we'll see how that works out for him. I know junior college kids got another year of eligibility though. So the kids that had 2 years, they've got 3 now. So that's going to help all those junior college kids. And he came over from Northern Colorado, where he played and started some last year as a true freshman. But he wanted to play because he was at Northern Colorado, got overlooked at high school out in Texas. He's got about 16, 17 offers now, and they're all good schools. So he realized once he got there and played, he could do better. Lack of a better word, he could do better. And so that's what he's going to do. He went to junior college in Arkansas, and several other Power 5 schools are on him and have offered him. It was about 6'3", 290 maybe. And so we'll see how that works out for him. But that's a couple of kids that, if those 2 kids were to come on board, then it doesn't look good for Armstrong. But and if they don't, it may still not look good for Armstrong. But I think Makai is hoping that it works. Well, I know he's hoping it works out and he gets a scholarship. But if he doesn't, like I said, he'll be productive wherever he goes.
Yeah. All right, Otis Kirk, thanks so much for your time and your insight. But that's going to do it for our weekly recruiting report.